StraightAllDay.com.
Baldwin, StraightAllDay.com. The topic of this video is letting things go and making wise decisions about what to pursue and what to let go. I was just listening to a interview today, and it was Barbara Corcoran, who's on Shark Tank. Interviews an entrepreneur. If you don't watch Shark Tank, you should watch it. She's one of the sharks that's consistently on the show Shark Tank. And she was talking about, because her background's in real estate, so she built this big, billion-dollar real estate company. And she was telling this story. It was one of many that she was talking about, but she was just explaining how she decided to, at one point, she had gotten in a lawsuit with Donald Trump up in New York over some real estate deal that had gone bad, etc. And the question was about, because she ended up taking them to court. And y'all know that people get sued all the time. Getting sued is like a big, it's a normal thing that happens when you're in business, especially when you're doing big business and you're engaging with a lot of different people. Eventually somebody's gonna be disgruntled about how things go when a lawsuit comes up, or a threat of a lawsuit, things like that. Oftentimes the lawsuits don't go through, they get settled out of court. But she said in this particular lawsuit, she did actually go through with the whole thing, and they went to court and all that, and she ended up winning. And one of the things that she was talking about, and this is what I want to get to in this video, was when you're in business, you get these kind of things that happen all the time, but a lot of times you don't end up taking it all the way to suing the person, taking them to court and doing all that, because it's very costly to take people to court. It's very costly to sue somebody. It costs a lot of money for you to, first of all, to pay the lawyer, then the time you have to invest in actually pursuing the court case, then compare the amount of time that it takes to pursue the case to the amount of money that you might actually end up getting, is often not even worth it. And I've known many people who have been in situations where they had a legitimate case to sue a person and they decided not to, simply because this is not even worth it. The amount of time it takes to do it, and then the amount of money that you can actually get, even if you win, minus what you got to pay the lawyer, minus the cost of your time, you might as well not even sue the person. You might as well just chalk that up and move on. And I'm using that example because some of you are not even in business, and you won't even be in that situation. Or maybe you're not doing the type of business where that would ever come up. But in life, period, you also got to make these same value judgments. When does it make sense to go and pursue something because somebody did the wrong thing? And you deal with enough different people in life, you are going to deal with this. Somebody's going to do the wrong thing. Somebody's going to violate your trust. Someone's going to go against their word. Somebody's not going to follow through on what they were supposed to do. And you got to make a decision. Do I pursue this and do something about this and try to get recourse because this person was out of line and they did the wrong thing? Or do I just cut my losses and just say, you know what, forget it. I learned my lesson from this. I'm just going to put an end to this, walk away from this, not put myself in that situation again, and just move on. And that's a value judgment that you have to make. And those of you who have never heard that phrase, value judgment, what that means is you need to make a judgment, in other words, a decision, based on the value of pursuing the situation versus the value of, let's just say, not pursuing it. You may have a couple other options besides just those two, but you got to make a value judgment. All right, is the value of pursuing this worth it? Given that you might get what you want, also given that you might not get what you want, is it worth it to even put myself in this situation in the first place? Is it worth it to even sue this person? Because if I win, here's what I can get, but here's what I got to pay the lawyer, here's how much time it's going to take. Or is it better to just walk away because here's what I end up losing or not getting out of the situation, but here's how much time I save by not pursuing this situation? These are things you got to think about in all of life. And again, I'm using the situation that I heard Barbara talking about because it's fresh on my mind, of taking somebody to court and suing them. That's something that you think about that over a period of time. It's not like you got to make a decision in 5 minutes whether you're going to sue somebody or not. You can take weeks, months, you can take years after something happened to sue a person. Right? The statute of limitations is not up. But in life, there are times when you got to make decisions. So if you're driving, like I'm driving right now, so let's say somebody cuts me off in traffic. I got to make a value judgment. Do I slam on my horn and cuss the person out and give them the middle finger for doing something dumb in traffic, or do I just let them go, knowing that they were wrong, just let them go and keep driving, so it doesn't even open up the possibility of any further complications or problems for me or for them or for both of us. These are value judgments, and usually we make better value judgments when we're in a emotionally relaxed state, when we are not too emotionally, activated on a situation, whether that's frustration, anger, fear, disappointment, sadness, any of those emotions. They tend to cause our energy to run pretty high, tends to send a rush of adrenaline through us, and we tend to get reactive when we are in those states. So it's better to make your decisions when you're not in one of those states. And if you happen to be in that state in the moment when you're thinking about it, you want to get into a emotionally calm, placid state before you make a long-term decision. You never want to let your emotions make your decisions for you, because again, emotions will run you into walls. It's not that emotions are not good. It's just that emotions are great gas pedals, but they're not good steering wheels. You don't want to make logical decisions based on emotion, because they'll run you all over the place. So your call to action here from this video here is situations that you face in life. You have to decide, is it worth it to go after this thing? And the answer is not always yes. Don't let your ego always tell you, hey, go after this thing and prove your point, and tell this person something and stick it to them because they did something bad or something wrong, because you don't like them or because of disagreement or whatever the situation is. Sometimes you end up with more or better, or you end up winning by letting things go rather than hunting things down and running down every possible avenue for recourse in a situation, both in the short term, like if somebody does something crazy while you're driving, or in the long term, like a business partnership gone bad. And these value judgments will help save you a lot of resources in the long run if you make them wisely, consulting your logic and your rational thinking, not just your emotions. So with that said, make sure you text me. So you're in my text community, numbers down below in the description. And also Work on Your Game University. That's the place where I do all my coaching. One of the areas that we help people a lot with in that university is our strategy. The strategy is about creating a plan of action based on our rational, logical thinking, based on the outcomes that we want to achieve, with the resources that we have on hand and available to us, and then working that plan to get to the outcome that we want to get to. And part of that sometimes, actually not sometimes, but all the time, because one of my coaching members right now is in the midst of this as I'm recording this, is managing your emotions when things start to get crazy. And when you're running a business especially, things will get crazy. I don't care what kind of business you're running, things will get crazy when you're running a business. And you have to be able to control your emotions, not let your emotions control you in those situations. So go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Link is down below in the description to this video. And that's where you can find out what we're doing in the program. You can schedule a time to talk to us. We can find out where you're at, where you're going, what we can possibly help you with. And if we feel like we can help you, we'll tell you how it works and how to get started. That's all, again, link down below in the description. Work on Your Game University. Work on your game. Dre all day.